You there, thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today I have a 3v3 ladder matcher on the most amazing Neuroxus map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. Starting off with Team 1 in the Northeast, ending with Team 2 in the Southwest. Starting off with Team 1's Northeastern player in the rear guard slot, most likely it is Dilly Dally. He is in orange, the color orange, as a Cybran. As a 1739 rated to his southwest is the UEF player for Team 1. It is Swatoslav. He is in Ruby Red as a 2132 rated player. He is the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game overall. And next door to him, it is Neutron. He is in Chevy Crimson as a Seraphim as an 1896 rated. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have one UEF, one Cybran, one Seraphim. Team 1 lacks the Aeon faction. Starting off with Team 2's regular side player, we have an Amethyst Purple Saints Row as a UEF. He is a 1624 rated. To his northeast is the 2062 rated player. He is the highest rated player on Team 2. It is Blinchick in Stitch Blue as the Cybran faction. And last but not least, for Team 2 is another Cybran here. It is Neon Marine. He is in Royal Blue as a 2024 rated player. Hey, there we go. It is the year that this game was casted and also was played. And he is, of course, a Cybran for this match. And for Team 2 side of the map, there are two Cybrans, one UEF, which means there's no Aeon, no Seraphim for Team 2, which means for the entirety of this match, there are no Aeon players. Apologies to those Lords of the Princess. Hopefully you enjoyed the game nonetheless. And, of course, for these 6 players on the map, let's take a look at how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at 85,000 mass in reclaim. That is an absolutely metric ton of mass for 6 players. I mean, it'd be a lot of mass for 10 or even 12 players, but 6 players, that's, shoot, 14,000 mass per player roughly. That is just an absolute horde and more of mass. We do see a lot of it is down the middle here, but there's a large amount over here in these northwestern, I don't even know, like ears. Kind of what it, I get the feeling they kind of look like little ears. There's a nice little mustache or something right here as well. There's a lot of 1,000 right here. There's another about 2,000 here, 2,000 there. So it's pretty much along the edges of the map. You can see that a large section of it is just devoid of the everything due to the large mountainous section over there. It does look like it's barely encased. There's a little bit of sections that aren't covered in mountains on the edges, but it's pretty much encased. Nice little bowl. So players can send their air units around the map pretty much undeterred. The, of course, biggest worrisome here for both teams is this large section in the southeast. And in terms of the mexes on the map does have some mexes. There is a, it's definitely more spread out 5-star mex position, but it's pretty close to being nice and just together. There's a twin mex right here and a tri-mex position over there to the northwest. A couple of mexes down the middle. Nothing over here on this upper plateau, and a couple of mexes in the middle. So the map does lack a little bit in the mex department. But for early to mid-game, having 85,000 mass on the map will definitely alleviate any sort of eco concerns for both of our players. The main land engagement is going to be in the middle right here. There is a slight land engagement, of course, down this way, but it is a little bit deterred by this lower section of the higher section. So essentially a nice little divot in the land there. So it's going to be very annoying to deal with. A lot of spam outbound from Neon Marine. So he's just going to bottleneck any sort of efforts from Team 1's Neutron. And of course, similar things are happening for him as well. It's just spam, 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 spam. So even if units from Team 2, or actually Team 1, I should say, come into this position, it's just a lot of HP to chew through for all those factories. Lots of forces inbound from Blinchick to the north. And we even see that Neon Marine's pushing into the north as well. Team 1 has a presence in every department in terms of all 3 players. The comm of Dilly Dally has decided to remain in his main base, but the other 2 players on Team 1 have decided not to. Lots of units, of course, fighting over reclaim. Swatoslav scooping up all of that juicy reclaim. Team 2 is starting to pull ahead a little bit in the mass department, but of course that could be easily just reclaim related. And that's partly due to, of course, the 36,000 mass scooped up in reclaim. That's not per second, but that partially could be a little bit of a reason why we haven't even seen any movement from the other two comms for Team 2. Saints Row has T2 Air going for T3, so 8 minutes on the clock. T3 upgrade has been started. Blinchick spamming out a ton of Team 1 P-gens. Looks like he's going for T2 now, then he has T2 land online. Looks like things have kind of simmered down in the middle for now. In the edge middle, I guess is what we'll call this. Southeast middle. I don't even know what section of the map we're going to call this. It's just like I said, just traffic jam all around. It's a tight section to traverse, small section to kind of regroup, and then another small section to travel through. So it's just bottlenecking at its finest. The best position to sit in would be on the, essentially this position right here, shooting into the kill box, and of course the same over here. You could argue this would be a good position down here because you could shoot into essentially this entire section, especially with T2 artillery, but just being on the same plane is definitely probably a little bit better. It is a Seraphim v Cybern affair, so Ilshis will most likely be established up here, and that will most likely overrun position if Team 1's Neutron can hold on for a while. T2 Engineering Suite coming online for Swadoslav, and he bats away a couple of incoming Medusa and other Mantis. We do see that Team 1 is starting to push in quite nicely, but there is T2 Resistance now online for Swadoslav. And there's a couple of pillars. I wouldn't be surprised to see Riptides possibly here shortly. It does look like Swadoslav has to cancel that gun up. Sorry, not gun upgrade. T2 upgrade. I'm seeing gun upgrades being built by Team 1's comms here. Shield has been started for Saints Row as well. Looks like he is staying in his main base. He went for gun T2, but he's not leaving his main base. Maybe he'll go to the front lines. Maybe. T3 Air is online for him. T3 Air is also online for Team 2. So both teams have T3 Air online. I thought I saw a Triad fire, but that could have been something else. TMD online just to assist with any sort of tactical missile shenanigans. It does look like Team 2's Blinchick is able to push in and get a little bit around these forces, but that hole is plugged very easily, and stealth has been started here for Nyamarine in the middle. He has gun already on board. Neutron has no upgrades. Swadoslav getting his T2, and Billy Daly has no upgrades. We do see another T3 air facility online for Neutron, so 2 air players for Team 1, 1 air player for Team 2. Definitely not going to confuse one or the other. Shield gun and T2 is online for Saints Row. Is he just going to drop on top of the comm? It looks like he's going to do it. He's just going to drop right on top of that commander. It will provoke an attack from his teammate of Nalmarine just to assist with that. Look at that, right in front of EX. He boops him. And that is going to be a walk down. Nice grab here. If this does net into a kill, it will be a nice little dropping in from Team 2 Swadoslav. Definitely a risky play, especially with the transport and T3 Air online. But there wasn't a lot of air units in there by anyway, so there's a lot of Team 1 interceptor coverage. And now we see a transport with Nyamarine coming in as well. And Team 1's player of Neutron Control Case killing off the transport and the comm of Nyamarine. Oh, Nyamarine must be upset about that. Ooh, that is rough. Nice, quick decision making there here from Neutron, though. He was about to be killed anyways, and he took out another player with an explosion. It makes this game now a 2v2. That was probably actually the best decision he could have made. Like I said, he was going to die anyways. He might as well go out with a bang. And he kills off another player on Team 2 that he probably wouldn't have been in a 2v1 fight. Swadoslav nearby has a couple of T2 PD. It's going to slowly pick apart the shield for Saints Row. But honestly, it might just drive Saints Row away at the maximum. Looks like he had power issues. I thought I saw the shield go right back down and right back up or something. But Swadoslav getting his gun online. He has T2 and gun. But of course, it's T2 gun and shield for Saints Row. And of course, his opponent is just shieldless. A couple of Titans and some Percys online for Swadoslav. He has dual bases now. And so does Blinchick. The 2,000 rated player was defeated by a 1,900 roughly rated player. So again, definitely staying in the realm of there's really no high or low advantages. The only huge discrepancy is a 2,100 possibly versus a 1,600 right now. And of course, the 1,600 is in the air slot, not the land slot, which is what Blinchick is in. So again, there is a discrepancy a little bit in the raiding department, but it's just mainly because there's a comm that normally wouldn't be up there, at least to that degree. We do see Blinchik over here, gun and stealth online, trying to hold off these Titans. T1 air facility, most likely just try to spam it up for protection. And now we see Saints Row is going to turn around. Strat Bomber online for Saints Row as well. And that is a Seraphim variety one. Not that it really matters which Strat Bomber it is. It's just nice to look at which one is which. We do see as Blinchik has claimed the upper plateau and now just bombarding this position that once belonged to Neutron. Man, that was just... Oof, that was just a terrible placement there for that transport for Neon Marine. We do see Swadoslav pushing in quite nicely here, but again, it just depends on how much territory he's able to retain, because you can push as far in as you want, but if you lose so much mass and don't get as much mass killed, wasn't really worth it. This is not a big map. You can't even see the northern or southern edges of the game simulation, whatever the heck you want to call this. So it's probably about a 12, maybe a 13 by 13. 13 is my favorite number for some reason. I don't know why. It just always has been. Just one of those things. I know some people don't like the number 13 or whatever, but I'm just like, I think it was the number that I was like listed in one of my elementary school classes, and I've just kind of stuck with it. We do see Blinchik. Again, he's not going for another upgrade. He could benefit from Nano just to fight back against all these Perseus, but he has to be very careful. Those Perseus can not necessarily one-tap him, but it's getting to a point where they could if they all group up and fire at once. Artillery out of range of anything else. Vital Cave for Swadoslav. He's going for more PD just to assist in defensive measures. Love to see that. Just secure it just in case those units do get transported down there on that lower section. T3 air not really being super expanded upon as of yet, but a couple of air facilities is online or are online. Same thing going on here for Team 1 as well for Dilly Dally. So again, kind of the same situation here for Team 1 and Team 2. No real air advantage one way or the other. Looks like pretty even. Land, I think Team 1 has a slight advantage. All these T2 gunships online. That's what we'll blow through is ASF from inbound, ASF from Swadoslav as well. I didn't even see those, so Team 1 probably does have a slight advantage in the air department. And it looks like because of those gunships acting as a nice little distraction, Team 1 will net air. Now, it's not a huge advantage over Team 2, but again, being up 15 or so is definitely better than being up 1 or 2. Team 1 AA spammed up. We'll deal with, I think, the rest of those gunships. Maybe, maybe not. There's a couple of Team 1 archers nearby. If these were T2, they would have been wiped out easily, but they are not. Still, the land army is not relenting. Team 1 is pushing Team 2 back quite nicely here, and I probably have flipped, Team 1 and Team 2 at some point, so I do apologize for possible confusion. I'm used to having Team 1 on the west and Team 2 on the east, but it's flipped. It's annoying when I can't decide, or I can't be like, Team 1 is always on the north or the west, and Team 2 is always on the south or the east. But it just doesn't work that way. To be fair, Team 2 is on the east and Team 1 is on the west, but you get what I mean. Couple of some bricks moving into some Titans. Titans are not going to win that fight and decide to retreat because of it. Team 1 is leading the match in eco, 530 versus 400 even. We do see a couple of those very, very annoying spearhead missile launcher platforms. And they're going after those forces over here. There isn't a loyalist in the mix, which means those missiles aren't being redirected, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some possibly added for Saints Row. Or even, of course, Blinchik, who is the Siren player, of course, or at least the only one remaining. We do see transport doing some really... What is going on? Oh, because it's in a really weird patrol route. I don't know what the heck it was doing. It was freaking out. It was super jittery. Had too much caffeine, possibly, or coffee, or whatever the heck he drinks. We do see it's mainly Perseus, which I always love to see. I would love to see a little bit more brick force. There is, of course, Titans, but he could easily replace those Titans with bricks, and it'd probably be a better T3 land army entirely. Just my opinion, of course. More HP, and whatnot. So, again, just my 2 cents on that regard. A couple of bricks over here taking out all these. Actually, those are Lobos, not Medusa. And ASF stacking up next to Swadoslav's commander. He's going for T3. He might start to PD creep Team 2, which could easily happen if Team 2 is not careful enough. They really need to get some maybe T2 artillery or something to really just keep Team 1 at bay a little bit, especially in the middle of the map. 20 minutes on the clock here. Team 1 at 600, Team 2 580 in terms of mass income. We do see some engineering hive stations coming online here for Dilly Dally to assist with the build power scenario that he desperately needs. Not an expansion into the air grid. Looks like just a little bit more shielding, but is spamming out some ASFs as we speak, so nothing too crazy here for Swadoslav in the air department. T3 is going up a little bit slow. I feel like it should be going up a little bit more faster than that. Is he down on mass? That's probably why. But he at least is building it at a minimum, which is better than nothing. Surprised to not see an experimental coming online for either team. It is almost like you're going to be chickens versus monkeys / Team 1 having also monkeys. We do see a FAF point has been started by Swadoslav, and that's actually almost done, which could be very interesting because with a map like this, it kind of makes the Fat Boy not necessarily ineffective, but there's going to be points where this is going to be firing, let's say this way, the Fat Boy's over here and the units are over here, and it's just going to hit that mountain the entire time. And with an indirect fire system on board, if the units from Team 2 get in close range, that Fat Boy is not long for that world. A couple of whalers online, again just poking and prodding at the bricks. And we do see those ASFs come in using the advantage. We even see that now Blinchik is getting into the air department as well. So both players on both teams have some sort of air power being built for them. They just want to help out the best they can. We do see that army is continuing to just gain a little bit more territory with every about couple minutes or so. It's definitely a back and forth there between these two teams. But in terms of map control, Team 1 is definitely winning. The only benefit from Team 2 is they have this nice little upper plateau section, which now they're getting some T3 trebuchets online, which is definitely not going to make Swadoslav feel good, especially with the bombardment that is soon to be occurring. There is T2 artillery nearby, though, which might just deter that trebuchet. Looks like another one is being built. I thought I saw one get fired. Going to hit that trebuchet and kill it off instantly. Got 1 or 2 artillery shots off. Nothing really worrisome there. Swadoslav already countering Team 2's advantage down there. Love to see that. He thought about it ahead of time. And when the moment came, he was prepared. He took it out with real little to no losses. But here we go. Here's some bricks just ripping apart a couple of Perseus. The main Percy horde is over here, and they're moving into intercept. It looks like they're just moving into retreat and hide at least a little bit near these nice little PD and AA emplacements. Missile launcher here for Swadoslav. Is he going to build the build? Okay, never mind. He can do it before I can even say it. He is building that Billy Nuke. Fat Boy is now appearing in the middle of the map. Team 2 desperately needs a counter to that, what is not going to be good for them in the long haul. No counter as of yet. No experimental at all from either of these players. Oh, okay, well, you know, I just have to say it, and through the ether, those players will hear me, and they will decide, okay, well, you're right, strategic launch, we need an experimental, so we're going to start building one. Second one is online here for Swadoslav. No experimental as of yet from Dilly Dally, but he's more focused on air, so I don't blame him for not going for anything. Team 2 is now winning the mass game at 860 versus 780. We see that Blinchik is outproducing anybody else in the game. He's not outproducing the entirety of Team 1, but he's getting pretty close to it. Fat Boy, of course, pushing in with that spearhead assistance. And that Fat Boy, you can see, as I was talking about earlier, the exact scenario happened, and it's just... it's not as effective, especially with pushing the Fat Boy in. The further this comes into Team 2's territory, the easier it is for Team 2 to deal with it. It's just something that Team 1 has to be very careful with how far they push in. Second Fat Boy is coming online and moving into the middle of the map. 2 is definitely worrisome. 4 is starting to be critical mass. But I feel like a map like this, even 3 might be critical mass. Just because there's not really a lot of avenues to attack besides air. There really has not been that much air being used by Team 2, just besides some ASFs. No gunships. We do see a couple of Janus coming online here now from Saints Row. A couple of transports, of course, as we've seen as earlier. But nothing really in terms of air-to-ground weaponry, which is very surprising considering broadswords and whalers exist. So, food for thought, Team 2, food for thought. Bowie Nuke now being built by Saints Row. So both of the main line... actually, that's not even the main line player. That's actually just the air player. The air player of Team 2 and the frontline player of Team 1 building Bowie Nukes. One is done and he's loading as we speak. The other one is building the upgrade. So unless there's some TMD or even some Loyalists online, that's not going to be a good day for Team 2's forces. Second Fat Boy now in range, going after a couple of exterior mexes. Team 2 is starting to lose a little bit of that lead, especially with spearheads to the west. And Swattlesub might just be losing them right about now. If those bricks decide to push in, which it doesn't look like they will, and those two Fat Boys, that might just be the way that Team 1 wants to end this game. Very quick, very fast. No real issues one way or the other. I obviously know what time the match ends. You know by the time code roughly what time the game ends. So there isn't really a surprise on our end. It's mainly on the players' end. ASF move in pretty... no, they don't actually fully commit. We see some Janus over the top going after that Fat Boy. And the shield's going to protect it for just a little bit, but it looks like the fire might not be enough. And the fight does commence. Team 1 did have a decent amount of AA underneath in the form of a couple of Cougars. That definitely helped, but this Fat Boy is in range of this Fat Boy. This Fat Boy is going to lose its shield, most likely. But it might actually just die to the chicken that's nearby here for Swattlesop. So he has two Fat Boys and a chicken. There's probably a joke in there somewhere. There goes one Fat Boy. Billy Nuke is outbound. Going to soften up those units here for that incoming chicken and actually take out a chunk of them. It takes out, I'd say, about a squad or so of bricks and the entirety of the shield for the Fat Boy. There are more bricks inbound. Lots of gunships now from Swattlesop and from Dilly Dally. So T3 and T2 gunships playing well with one another. This is not looking good here for Team 2. The chicken, surprisingly enough, has been dealt with quite nicely here by Team 2. The Fat Boy might not survive. The chicken gets the kill as it dies. So Team 1 loses a chicken and a Fat Boy. Team 2 loses a Fat Boy, and they're losing a lot of their land pressure. And Team 2's been on the defensive for a while, and Team 1's about to eclipse them in eco per second, at least in terms of mass. No efforts to go for Nuke, no efforts to go for any sort of big ticket item so far. Nano repair has been started by Blinchick. We do see the Billy Nuke is online for Saints Row, which he hasn't fired it as of yet. Looks like he's just barely loaded it. There he goes. It is loaded, so I wonder what he'll fire it at. Maybe this group of units right here. I don't think the Fat Boy. He might try to clip some of those ASF hanging out above said Fat Boy, but another Billy Nuke outbound. Gonna land right here. Actually, that's a nice grouping there. Takes out almost the entirety of all of those Percies. And that Fat Boy takes the brunt of the damage from that Billy Nuke. But great placement here by Team 2's Saints Row, putting it in the middle of all of those Percies. Janus over the top trying to help out. Some of them don't even drop their payloads. Well, actually, one did just barely. But there's a lot of Cougars. Not a lot of flak, but mainly Cougars. So mainly trying to deal with the ASF threat. Nothing in terms of the fighter bombers slash gunship threat from Team 2. We haven't seen many gunships, but we have seen fighter bombers. Speaking of gunships, over here to the east, Dilly Dally pushing in. ASFs are going to move in. Team 1, do you have ASFs nearby? No. Which means those gunships are going to die. Not necessarily for nothing, but they could have been used a little bit more efficiently. And there go the rest of said gunships. Team 1 does call their ASFs in. It is Dilly Dally's. Oh, will they get out of harm's way? Looks like they will. A couple of ASFs will die on both sides. Nothing too critical. And that Fat Boy is now online. And the second chicken... Sorry, it's been online and that chicken is now online. Team 1 producing an Awasaw bomber. And a nuke as well. And that thing's actually almost loaded. So does Team 2 have an SMD? Yes, they do. Is it loaded? No. Is it loaded? Yes, it is not. No, it is not. And that could be deadly. One free nuke here for Team 1. What do they fire it at? It could be the air grid. It could be the secondary air grid. It could be the tertiary air grid. Could be any sort of air grid. Could be the Fat Boy. I highly doubt it's going to be the Fat Boy. And it's going to be the main base here for Blinchik. And Blinchik was building some satellites, I say was, because they're not going to be there for long. And SMVs, of course, are now going to be hastily loaded as we speak now that Team 2 knows of the nuke. And this nuke is going to travel quite quickly, being in a map this small. And that satellite will probably get out of the yellow by the time it lands. And those ASFs are actually sitting roughly out. Oh, some of them will probably be clipped. There comes the nuke. Kaboom! Takes out a bunch of PGens, takes out all the build power, and takes out, of course, the satellites that were and were going to be built. And that is a nice chunk of Team 2's eco just kind of sniped there. Team 1 now in the lead, about 100 or so mass per second more. Team 2 has the most overall mass, but ever so slightly. It looks like Team 1 is catching up as we speak. Lots of air scouts down here just kind of hanging out. No, nothing worrying about that. Just having some friendly conversations between opposing forces. I was going to say, is there another like ASF or something moving in to take that out? But nope. Our sub-bomber is completed. Dropping payloads in front of a Fat Boy, and that's not going to help the Fat Boy push forward. Team 1 is going to shield that as much as possible. It will probably net them the air control or dominance if it does end up being an air fight, but it just depends on how aggressively Swadoslav uses that Awasa. If he uses it too much, it's definitely going to lead to a air fight. If he's just going to use it a couple of times, then nothing to really worry about. All those perks are dealt with, so that will bring almost one veterancy here to that Awasa. Satellite has been started by Swadoslav, so both of these teams were thinking about the same kind of strategy. What did that do to Blinchik's power? Actually, he's doing decently fine considering, but he's really suffering. A couple of mixes were, of course, taken offline. It's not going to help the eco situation. And in the north, east northern direction, Awasa Bomber hanging off to the north, just waiting to be given another order. Nuke going to land. Really just not doing a lot of damage, just taking a couple of ASF and some reclaim. But again, like I said, nothing really of strategic value in that Billy Nuke. Satellite is almost done here. He's got that up very quickly here, and we do see that it's going to be satellite and then 3 chickens. So lots of land power. Awasa Bomber going to move over the top. Going to go for this position. There's some TMLs hiding over here. The bomb will land, but they've been dealt with anyways by the whalers. I feel like that's not really the best use of that, especially if that Awasa Bomber was taken out easily by Team 2's ASF. Team 2 needs to go for AA immediately. There are some bouncers running around, but they need more stationary AA as much as possible at a minimum. Bomb going to land on top of there. That's definitely unfortunate. And that Awasa would take out... I mean, we'll take out anything at this point. It might actually get taken out. Just a decent amount of ASFs behind it. The bomber is going to land on Team 1's side of the map, so nothing to worry about in terms of the reclaim situation, but that's not great. PGen goes down, and some E-storage is here for Swadoslav. Nothing too crazy, but he is going to be annoyed about it. I'd be annoyed about it at a minimum. Like I said, that satellite is down. Oh, it looks like it's over here. Is it going after Mexes? It looks like it might have gone after SM. No, it wasn't here. Looks like SMDs might be the target. That one is loaded. That one is almost loaded. Team 1, how is the second nuke going? It's almost loaded. So there could be a scenario where Team 1 does end up firing a nuke and it landing on Team 2's side of the map, but I highly doubt it at this point. We'll just have to wait and see. In the southwest, more air facilities being established. Nothing really big ticket item here so far, but again, the game can flip on its heels very quickly. And it could just be one of those scenarios where both players on Team 2 just spam build something. Boom Nuke lands on top of a fatty. Couple of strap bombers inbound to assist with its destruction. And those strats are easily dealt with. The fatty is still doing good. It's in the high yellows, but it's going to be neutered a little bit for a bit. Team 1, how is your ASF count? Sitting at 176. Team 2's ASF count. Wow, that is a huge discrepancy. Team 1 has air dominance, if not supremacy, at this point in the game. 35 minutes, almost 36. That is not looking good here for Team 2's air power. If they don't have anything else in the clip. It might just be a steamroll over by air for Team 1 if Team 1 has noticed this by now. Chicken pushing in against a Fat Boy and a Continental, because why not? And we have another Fat Boy in reserve. Another chicken has been built. I saw the YOLO. I guess he wants to build a chicken first. I saw it. It was starting to be built ever so slowly, and I thought I saw multiple of them just lined up. Fat Boy pushes way too far in close to that chicken and gets eaten and burned for it. I should say it gets burned and then it gets eaten. Saints Row, of course, has some T3 engineering suite, so he has a couple more hit points to his disposal. Ace up coming and keep him alive. He's going to hang out underneath the shielding of that Fat Boy. But where did all these ASF come from Swadoslav? Not Swadoslav, sorry, for Saints Row. I felt like he had a lot less, but maybe I just clicked on the wrong item. That is, looks like those were his Cybran forces, not his UEF ones. So technically he was sitting at 160 plus, which is definitely a chunk and a half to have. Dilly Dally sitting at 78, so yeah, it is in favor of Team 2 now, even if you had a dozen or two or four from Swatoslav. Man, I cannot pronounce that name sometimes. In the west, that chicken is continuing to push. There's one star veterans, a couple of PD being built to try to help, but I don't think it's going to help that much. Really needs C2 artillery more than anything else. And that air scout little circle going on over there is getting bigger and bigger as the day goes on, or the match goes on. Nuke outbound, going for this grouping of units. It actually is going to grab it. The shield will protect some of those T3 Percies, but a lot of them not going to be saved in any degree. Nice snipe by Saints Row. Nuke's really coming in clutch here for both teams. 39,000 mass killed for that. Common 19,000 killed for Team 1's Swatoslav. So again, the power of the UEF Nuke is very strong. Cannot ignore it. And it's going to keep Team 1's units on their toes at least for a little bit. Man, this base down here to the southwest, you can't really tell where one player ends and the other one begins. Essentially overlapping one another. Satellite has been started by the air player of Saints Row. Team 1, have you produced any more satellites or just the one? Looks like it's just the one. We did again see a YOLO was barely started, but then reclaimed essentially immediately. Another Fat Boy is done. SMD is loaded. Nuke is, well, it should be loaded. Yep, it's loaded. And this SMD over here to the west is not, so that is an avenue for Team 1's attacks. That SMD is loaded. This SMD is not loaded. So again, backup SMDs being built all the time. And now we see Blinchik running in the face of a nice little satellite overhead, but looks like that satellite is focused on other endeavors. Chicken is inbound air on this eastern side. And there is a new base coming online here. Lots of AA being built here just to protect against any sort of bomber threats. We do see another chicken moving in. And it's not looking good here for Team 2. Just one of those things where can Team 2 contain and keep Team 1 at bay long enough, or is it just going to be the start of the end? Large groups of Percy still stacking up. Not a lot of bricks still, but maybe they're moving over here. No, just Percy's. I feel like T3 Cybran Tech would be very useful here for Team 2, but for Team 1. See, I knew I'd do it, but that's just one man's opinion. Tickle Cannon's trying to help, but again, you really need 1,000 of those to really make a dent in anything. Fat Boy's online. Saints Row is nearby. Looks like that Fat Boy will be fine because it's underneath some additional shield coverage. Looks like the shield was either depleted for some reason. Chicken is able to walk all the way around, question mark? There isn't any sacrifice message here for Team 1 because there's no Aeon, so it must have walked all the way along the edge and then hooked west. Another nuke is outbound, going to go back here, but that SMD is down. That, I guess, was the main goal here from Team 1. And that section of the everything down there is good as gone. Another chicken on the western side here. It probably won't reach the base. It will get pretty close, but unfortunately it does not. And a couple of Percies will get close as well, but not close enough. Nuke will land. Kaboom! Takes out a chunk of T3 mass fabricators. Not mass fabricators. T2 mass fabricators and mexes and a bunch of other T3 pigeons, which means that nuke here for Team 1 has scored 157 mass kill. Definitely worth both of those nukes building. Team 1 is just putting the pressure on Team 2. And the all-important question is, can Team 2 hold out long enough to survive, or is this going to be the beginning of the end for Team 2? It just depends on if they can reclaim and rebuild and relaunch another attack. Billy Nuke outbound once again here from Swadoslav going for this position. The shield is down, the stealth field generator is down, but the stuff underneath is not. I'm surprised they didn't build any TMD in there. We do see a couple of fatty shots landing through, but not by much. There's really a lot going on. Another Awasab bomber here from Team 1's Swadoslav, and man, he is really pumping out his experimentals in this game. 43 minutes on the clock here. Team 1 at 1.3k, Team 2 at 700 mass per second. Really not feeling good here for Team 2's eco reserves and just economy overall. Bomber drops his payload on top of a mountain. That's not a good idea, and it just flies right into a horde of ASFs. So not a good idea. Number 2. That was yeah, not great. Looks like it was going for this position or something, but just clipped the bomb or the mountain when it was up there. Couple of Fat Boys trying to make it back to base. That one is killed off. The other one does make it underneath shield coverage. Another nuke outbound from Team 1. Where is this one going? SMDs have been built in response, but I don't think they've been built fast enough. Looks like it's going to be another kill from another base perspective on a nuke. Yes, it is inbound. Looks like both comms moved. They're like, okay, let's not get sniped, please. SMD has been hastily loaded, and it has now confirmed a kill on that nuke. 44 minutes on the clock here, and it, like I said, this is not looking good for Team 2 at all. Team 1's put a lot of pressure on them for a decent portion of this game. There's a little bit of pushback from some Team 1 bombers in the west, but again, ASFs are nearby, and they'll clean that out right quick. Is there any efforts to go for... Okay. Well, you don't have to worry about range in this game because it's a small map. But Swadoslav's commander is being bombarded by some Janus, and it looks like it might be the death of Swadoslav. There he goes. Nice snipe by Team 2's Saints Row. You just saw the comm sitting there and went, I'm going to go for it, and that is a great grab. This game goes from a 2v2 to a 2v1. Team 1's Dewey Daly gains all of the everything that Swadoslav had. So he's producing 1.3k mass per second. But again, his APM is definitely hurting. Satellite is done for Team 2's Saints Row as well. That was an amazing snipe. That was just, ooh, that was great. And again, it just goes to show that keeping your calm on the front lines for too long can be very, very dangerous. Is the Maverick continuing to be built, or will it be canceled? Looks like the satellite was control K'd or taken out, or both? Oh, it could have been lasered. That's fair. It could have been taken out by a laser. By a satellite in the sky. Nuke in the middle of both of these air grids. Don't know if that's the best placement for it, but hey, it's better than nothing, I guess. Looks like power issues for Team 2. Looks like they fixed them. Definitely needs more PGens for sure. And for me to not click the wrong button. And of course the ASF are just going to guard that Mavor as best as possible. Actually, it's being reclaimed. Never mind. The second experimental game ender that was started has now been canceled without being canceled as of yet. Team 1 doesn't want to go in that department, at least for now. Lots and lots and lots of fire beetles, so maybe Blinchik wants to snipe somebody. I highly doubt he'll get to the comm up here to the northeast, but there is a nuke. There is some PD. There's definitely some avenues and opportunities. Team 1 has an artillery almost being built. That's probably why that Mavor is being reclaimed. That would make sense. Drop bombers over the top, going to go after nothing. This one over here will not drop a payload. Weird. Weird that they just went in and didn't really do much. Of course, the fighter bills are stacking up. Don't know what they're going to be used for. 1/8 says Marine. And it is 1/8, but it's being reclaimed. So, again, one of those. It's not really that worrisome, but it can be. It just depends on if Team 1 will reinvest in it or not. We do see some air scouts still sitting down here in the southeast. These things are just hanging out. They have no... Well, some of them have fuel. Some of them probably don't at this point. But they're still flying around. Another nuke is outbound. Where is it going? That SMD is loaded. This SMD is loaded. This SMD is almost loaded. So realistically, the only point that Team 1 can go after is probably the southeastern corner. It does have a summoner gateway. It does have a couple of T3 mexes. It is definitely worth going after. But it's going to drop shot going for this nonsense of TMD and the AA. And kaboom! It takes out that whole position. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here, folks. More AA and TMDs being built over here. So it's just a drop in the bucket for Team 2 at this point. Neutron pings his teammates like, hey, there's something going on. There go the nice little fire beetles running around. Nothing really too damaging. But again, something's better than nothing. Team 1, I think, is starting to lose a lot of momentum, especially in the middle of the map. With only one player remaining, the APM gets severely diminished, of course. But, to be fair, he does have a second artillery installation coming online. With one of them already, Team 2 needs shielding. They already have it for the majority of the everything on their side of the map. Nuke is almost unloading. Team 1 does not have an SMD super close. You have this one. And that's it. And that one covers, I'd say, about... I mean, it covers the entire portion over here. But there's that section over here that can be nuked. This could be edge nuked. Just barely, I think. There's really not a lot of land units online for Team 1. Now, we saw a lot more of them when Swatosop was alive. But I think it just comes down to APM. And artillery has been started by Team 2's Blinchik as well. So, again, both players going for artillery. Looks like it's going up. Ooh, that was a nice grab for those mass fabs and air facilities. Shadowlight is receiving some damage in terms of that's where the large breadth of the shots are going to. Yeah, it's roughly around that. Some PD getting taken out. Team 1's Dilly Dally could telemaser in and kill off both the commanders, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. 60% T3 artillery, says Neutron. And yeah, that thing is almost done. Looks like there might be a shift with that. Second artillery has now done for Team 1. Third artillery is underway. And it's only going to be a matter of time. I think Team 1's strategy now is just delay. Team 2's advancing forces. And then maybe artillery Team 2 to death. Billy Nuke outbound from Saints Row. Don't see where it went. Oh, did it get destroyed? Looks like it got destroyed. Yeah, by that TMD battery there. It just looked weird because it looked like it was going to land, but it just randomly disappeared, so I would explain that. Ooh, the shield is down. I repeat, the shield is down. Lots of build power here. One unfortunate landing of an artillery shell. Ooh, it's okay. See what I meant? One unfortunate landing might be enough. Secondary shield is online. Doesn't cover the actual... Oh, man. It's just getting really dicey here for that artillery piece for Team 2. And there's a shot that's going to land. Oh, right on top of where the artillery was going to not be shielded. But the T3 came in time. It's actually not the best shield. The ED5 is the best. It just is one of those things that why don't you build the best T3 shield for the Cybern faction? But no, looks like maybe we're still being reclaimed, but I don't know. Maybe it would be the best thing for Team 1. 2 satellites, almost 3 are done. Another satellite is coming underway here for Dilly Dally. I feel like you could just build the Maver and essentially call it a day at this point. Satellite is gone, unfortunately, here for Blinchik. It was just enough damage to get taken out. The land army, again, is slow progress. There's a Fat Boy online, so that'll help a little bit. And there are... Ooh. Warning lights going off in my head. Ooh, that's not great. That is not great here for Team 1. There's a large group of ASF sitting over here. I wonder what he's going to use those for. That's a really large group of ASF. Well, that is not what I want. 500 ASFs. Blinchik, what does your teammate of Saints Row have? 108. Ooh, yeah, that is not going to work. Are they just going to go straight down the middle? Do not tell me they're going to go after the fat boy. That would be such a waste. And Team 1 notices there's just a bunch of nonsense. And strat bombers. They do know there are some strat bombers down there. Some spy planes are going to try to get a read out what's going on. I don't think they'll get much. They'll see where the comm is. But again, he's shielded quite nicely by natural environment. I think it might come down to one decisive strike from Team 2 to end it. Because the longer this goes on, the worse it is for Team 2. Nuke is loaded. So if an SMD goes offline, that could be the goal. There's another backup SMD right here. It has 2 anti-nuke missiles loaded. And Team 2 is definitely going to be aware of that with the satellite overhead. The Fat Boy is inching its way forward ever so slightly. We have some fire beetles moving in and actually missing a lot of their shots. They have cloaking on board, but I think there's an Omni over there, so Team 1's going to know that they're inbound. Bricks versus Percy's, tail oldest time. Bowie Nuke Lines takes out a chunk of those remaining Percy's. Whalers are inbound. There is some AA in the area. Are the ASF going to be called? You can see just the horde of ASFs waiting to just engage. This might be the perfect opportunity for those strat bombers to move in and take out an artillery piece or two. Now with 3 of them online, soon to be 4. It's just not looking good for the shield emitters at all. The air grid, or the shields around this air grid here for Blinchik are less than optimal. Oh, it's just not going well here for Team 1. Sorry, for Team 2. I keep saying Team 1. But with one after the other, it's just not going well. Land Army, though, is going quite well here for Team 2, though. Nice little SACU running around. Some Rambo presets. We do see a nice little fire beetle online. It's going to get wiped out before it reaches its target, but it did attempt it, so it's better than nothing. Lots of AA being built over here to the east. Surprised it's not closer to the mountain's edge or the base of the mountain range. We do see a strat bomber or 2, it looks like. No, it's just the 1. Oh, never mind. Thought there'd be more than 1, but I guess not. Again, 3 artillery shells. The nuke is taken out. Very unfortunate. It had 1 loaded and just was not able to fire it. Artillery now online over here to the west. Scathis is now starting here for Team 2's Blinchik, and he wants to end the game. If Team 1's not going to build a game ender, Team 2 will. Strat bombers tried to make an approach, but just got instantly denied. A huge ASF fight, of course, occurs. Team 1's going to win that. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It just depends on how badly does Team 2 lose it. 500 ASFs and dropping. Strat bomber's going to try to make a play for it, but they're going to get fired upon. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, they're not going to break through. I do like the attempt, but it was not enough. Even if this SMD went down, there's a backup one over here. Like I said, I love the attempt, but it just wasn't going to work out. With 3 artillery line for Team 1, soon to be 4 artillery online. I mean, it's just not looking good. If Team 2 can hold out, maybe the land situation will be a lot better, but there are chickens being built. The Mavor is still being reclaimed ever so slightly. Looks like the mix is up here being rebuilt as we speak. Team 2, they're just suffering. Air grid is about to go down, at least this one over here. Mixes have gone down. Shield grid about to fall. Novak Center survives just barely for now. Satellite over top here for Team 1. Scathis has to be spotted at this point. Looks like they're focused on the artillery first. And even if Team 2 gets the Scathis online, I don't know if it's going to be enough. It is in the yellow. It's going up pretty high. Nuke is outbound once again from Team 1. It's going to be point defense nuke, and that will cement the non-issue for them in the land department. Looks like the trajectory has been spotted. Looks like the SACU might be the only casualty, or big casualty. Kaboom! Takes out that SACU, but it's just one of those things where it's a lot of territory to chew through. Even with a small map like this, it does take a while. And artillery has been taken out here for Team 2's Blinchik. You know, maybe that was Saints Row, but maybe not. Looks like Blinchik is getting hit a little bit by the laser, but then goes, hey, stop it. Shield's going to be built to protect that investment, but again, it's going to be an all or nothing play at this point. 4 artillery pieces and climbing. Tons of monkey lords coming online for Team 1. I keep saying Team 1, but Dilly Dally is the only player on Team 1 remaining, so I could just say his name. Fat Boy. It's just not. It's not going to make it. The SACUs are not enough. The Fat Boy isn't enough. There's just not enough stuff. If they could take out the Omni, that could be something. I don't think they'll be able to get at this point. There is a fire beetle running around. Go for the radar. Oh, but the monkey is able to shoot at it and kills it off. Unfortunate. Fat Boy is down. Thought I heard some strap bombers. Looks like that's the one from Team 1 most likely. Yep, it's right there hanging out. And the Scathus is being fired upon. This is what I like to call a shield grid establishing itself. Oh, but there's a lot of artillery coming in. T2 shields going offline. And we have main shields being assisted. Other shields. Oh, it's not going good. Ooh, here we go. There's some UEF tech coming in. That's definitely going to help out a lot more. We have 13,000 versus 17,000. Of course, if they upgrade to ED5, I think it's 17,000. But again, you have to spend the time and the energy to upgrade to ED5 instead of just having, essentially the best shield that the UEF or the Seraphim or the Aeons have. You really need another shield being assisted to really keep it on the... Ooh, it's not looking good. Emitter comes online. Another emitter comes offline. More UEF shields coming in to intermix. You gotta look at the spam. Look at it. Really just trying to spam it out. Oh, that one's to the left. It's gonna be close. And it might just be that the shields are going to be the only thing that Blinchik can focus on. With 4 artillery pieces landing all the time, a 5th one soon to be done. It's just not going well. Team 2 is now in the lead for mass control, though. Mass control. Most mass being produced per second at 1.3 versus 1.1. I was reading the most mass collected, or the total mass collected. Another Billy Nuke looks like going after the experimentals. Team 2. Doesn't have much in the land department now. They have a comm with a Billy Nuke, and that's really about it. Ooh, that Scathus is trying to be built. It's going to tick over in the green here shortly, but 59 minutes on the clock here. I think Saints Row might just be killed off. There are 2 monkeys and a chicken moving in to intercept. This is not going good. Yeah, once the Scathus goes down, I think that's Team 2's last hope. Oh, but that comm is going to try to hide in the environment over here. Launching Billy Nukes when it can. The chicken has been defeated, though, so now it's just 2. Oh, well. See, the thing is that you can't really do anything against those gunships. So, that's the thing. And he doesn't really have a lot of power. Right. Oh, no, that's right. He got rid of his shield. He went for Billy Nuke. That's right. And that is a dead ACU. Sorry, dead SACU. That's a dead ACU. Team 2 loses. Saints Row. It is now a 1v1 affair. Scathus is about to tick over into the green. More shields being built all the time. It's just on again, off again, on again, on again relationship going on over here. Oh, it's just not going well. Oh, the grid is starting to collapse. Oh, there goes a chunk of the shield emitters. The Scathus is exposed just for a brief moment. Let's sit back, relax, and enjoy the shield demise. They're just coming on and offline, on and offline, on and offline. There's just nothing that Team 2 can really do at this point. You can see all the little low polygon for the texture of the shield. But to be fair, Blinchik is not giving up. He's doing a pretty good job of just holding steady. But there should be 5 artillery pieces online, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, there are 6 artillery pieces online. And that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Yeah, that is a hefty amount. There are chickens inbound. The Scathis, even if it finishes, will not be able to fire that much, if at all. It was a nice attempt here, Team 2, but I think your days in the sun are over. There are some SACUs and bricks trying to intercept, but that monkey is going to get past the environment, and it's just going to be a not good day here for Team 2. 1 hour, 2 minutes on the clock. Will Blinchick control K? Will he just go out and blaze a glory? Will he get hit by an artillery shell? More emitters are down. Chicken fire is inbound. Will Team 2 Blinchick, will he teleport out of there? Scathis will be destroyed. There it goes. There is Blinchick's commander. GG goes out from Sane's Row. And looks like the monkey will find the commander and take him out. There he goes. And that is a dead commander here for Team 2. That is the game here, folks. 1 hour and I believe almost 3 minutes on the clock here. Team 1 wins the game due to the just massive horde of artillery at this point. I mean, you could just ring them and have them be a lot better, but what's the point in that, I guess, for this player of Dilly Dally? He just wanted to build artillery and just that. He was actually building a 7th one as we speak. He could have just built the Mavor and ended it sooner. It would have been faster, but no. No, he can't build the Mavor. Anyway, that is the game here. Nuke killed off 200,000 mass MVP, of course, goes to Dilly Dally, but the ballsy, not dangerous, but the, I don't know, the big opener of this game was Team 1's Neutron control Kang and killing off Nya Marine in the process. It was a very rough, very not great scenario here for Team 2. They didn't want to lose a player like that, especially Nya Marine. He looked to be a little bit annoyed. I'd be annoyed too if I was in his boat, to be fair. But just sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I will see all of you in the next one.